Soaring electricity bills will be crushing to your budget as electricity prices have risen 15.8%. That's the highest since August 1981. Price increases this high are year over year, and this is according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Natural gas bills, which crept back up last month after dipping in July, have surged 33% from the same time last month. And labor data released last week states that we are going to be in for some increased prices. Now, you may have noticed lower gas prices over the last few weeks. Even with that little drop of total energy costs, we're still about 24% over August of 2021 levels. There are a few factors that will cause home heating bills to double. Electricity costs are relentlessly climbing because of the prices of the two biggest power plant fuels, which is natural gas and coal. And they've surged in the last year as the U.S. economy rebounds from the pandemic and as Russia's war in the Ukraine triggers an energy crisis in Europe. Another factor is the hot and humid summer across most of the lower 48 states drove households and businesses to crank up air conditioners. Americans likely used a record amount of power in the third quarter, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration projections. Now, how does this relate to automotive? We will dig into that. I want to remind you to subscribe and click that little bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. We give you more than car reviews and first looks of new vehicles. We give you car smarts because knowledge is power. A recent report from NerdWallet states Americans are spending $11,500 more in a single year. Now let's take a look at these numbers and how it affects you. Per month, you're looking at close to $1,000 more in expenses because of inflation. For many people, this is the entire extra rent or mortgage payment. Across all the spending categories, they examined groceries, shelter, and gas and how they stand to rise the most. Throughout all of 2022, inflation has cost Americans a lot of money. They're spending $1,200 more on groceries, $1,400 more on shelter, and $2,500 more on gasoline in those categories, and on other things besides. New York State's grid operator warned of a sharp rise in wholesale electric costs, expecting this winter with a spiking global demand for fossil fuels, lagging supply, and instability are driving up oil and gasoline costs. Geopolitical factors are ultimately reflected in the wholesale electricity prices and supply chain charges to consumer bills. New York State grid operator warned of a sharp rise in wholesale electric costs expected this winter, with spiking gasoline demand for fossil fuels, lagging supply, and instability are driving up oil and gasoline prices. Geopolitical factors are ultimately reflected in the wholesale electricity prices and supply charges to consumer bills. And that's per the New York State Independent System Operator and probably in your state as well. Electricity price futures for the winter have increased fourfold from last year, with prices averaging nearing $200 a megawatt per hour. The grid operator said that this has been driven by natural gas futures for the upcoming winter, which are more than double the current prices to nearly $20 per million British thermal units. According to the Lipa Oil Association, energy crisis is going to make all forms of energy more expensive. They stated that the releasing of oil reserves has caused gas prices to lower temporarily. OPEC is producing 3.5 million barrels less of oil, and all this will lead to much higher prices. Remember, the U.S. is selling some of our oil reserves to other countries, including China, and we've covered that in the past. And now our strategic oil reserves are at their lowest point since 1984, and that leaves us with only a few weeks of fuel in case of a disaster. With the reduction of oil production, less coal and natural gas mining, and permits, we are lining ourselves up for some serious issues and some big expenses in our budgets. None of what I just discussed will get more oil out of the ground as the world uses more and demands remain high. Watch after November's election, gas prices will rise again. With perfect timing, as always. There is so much more to discuss on this. If you got value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. If you have any questions or comments, because I am sure you do, I'll be happy to answer them. All my links for social media, the book, and the podcast are in the description. Thank you so much for your support on our Patreon page and watching this, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.